Hello everyone, Kirk here with Kirk's Motorrad Shop, Crystal Lake, Illinois, bringing you a hopefully never have to do it yourself video. Today's video is going to be on how to change out the timing chain on a K1600. Got a new timing chain right here, and I've got a full set of chain tensioner guides to install as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and start this one up. Guys, if you want me to work on your K1600 or any other late model BMW, do hit me up, Kirk at kirksmotorrad.com, or hit me up on my contact page at kirksmotorrad.com. And who knows, maybe you're going to see your bike right here on the lift. So you got to get the bike to the point where you got the timing cover off. If you don't know how to do that, you can check out my valve series on how to go ahead and pull the valve cover off. It basically shows you how to check your valves. And the valves need to be top dead center is number one. So we got the number one cylinder at top dead center. It is not locked into place quite yet, but the thing that we're going to do now is the first thing I'm going to do after I've gotten it to this point is I'm going to remove this timing cover that's right here. Now, why am I doing this job? So this customer has a ticking noise going on. It sounds like a chain tensioner problem at about 2,500 RPMs, and I have already changed out the chain tensioner itself, that little hydraulic tensioner. It's right here. I put a brand new one in there. It didn't fix the problem at all. It didn't change it one iota. So the customer wants to spend the extra money to go ahead and rule out everything by changing out the timing chain as well as all of the guides. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead right now and remove this cover. Everything else is pretty much ready to go except for the fact that it's not in true top dead center yet. I do have to lock the crankshaft into place with my special tools that I have for valve service, and I'll take it from there. So we're going to remove this cover here. We got our T30 bits. Got all those out. Give it a little tap. There we go. So before we do go, back to put all this together, we do have to clean up everything to make sure that all this gasket material is off, and it's on here. So it's going to take time. So just take your time and get all that material off of there. I'm not going to do that right now because right now I'm going to go ahead and get this all prepared to change this out. So the two tools out of the kit that I'm going to be needing today are this one right here. This is so I can lock the camshafts in the position that they need to be in, as well as my locking pin. The other parts in this kit I'm not going to need. I'm going to go over to the other side now and get the engine into top dead center. Okay, over on this side of the bike you got a hole that's right here, and this pin needs to slide all the way in. So how do we know that we're at top dead center? Well, the pin's going to slide in for one, but your number one valves are going to look very close to this right here. One's going to be pointing this way, one's going to be pointing that way. It's going to be just a little bit. Also, those little notches that are on here are going to be very flat. So I'm just going to turn the engine just a little bit, and these are going to probably flatten out just a little bit more, and then that pin is going to slide in. Get my pin ready here, and just going to kind of put pressure on the pin, and there it goes. All right. And now my valve parts right here are very close to being centered. And then we take this object right here, and that's going to slide just like that perfectly into those little things. They have little magnets on them, so it actually holds it in place. So I'm going to leave all this on here. I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to leave this on. I'm not going to use these though to pry against when I loosen up the sprocket on the other side. I'm actually going to hold the cam in place. So back here on this side of the bike, what I'm going to do, just to help me out a little bit later, these have pins in them behind these sprockets, but I'm just going to make a little mark on them, just telling me, you know, that's up. So the next thing that we have to do is actually, we need to loosen up the intake sprocket right here. And the way that you hold the cam is you have to put a wrench in on the flat that's right here. There's a flat part on the cam. You can either put a wrench in there, or even if you've got a you know, like a channel locks or something, not a channel lock, yeah, channel locks. So if you've got like a channel lock that has very flat jaws, you can get that on there, but you need a pretty big wrench for that. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. All right. So we're just going to loosen that, not remove it. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that wrench in place for now. Next thing we need to do is remove the chain tensioner. To remove the chain tensioner, we just remove these two bolts and pop it out of there. You can go ahead and just inspect your O-ring that's on here. Make sure it's okay. Probably is. We'll pull out the chain tensioner. Set that down. The next part we're going to remove is this right here. This is your upper guide. Just be careful when removing these that you don't drop them down in the engine. So what I do is I loosen them up a bit just to get them off the studs, just a little bit, and then I use a magnet socket, so I just really make sure I don't drop it in there. I would use a magnet socket the whole way, but this one is actually pretty shallow. And it doesn't seem to work the best on some of these things. On the ones that have like a little bit longer stud. Let me just pull this off. And here's our piece that we're going to replace. You just pull that off of there, put the new one on. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is remove these little keepers here. I'll loosen these out, pull these out, pull this one off. So let's pull that sprocket off. No. Okay. Yep, it fell out the bottom. The book says you can do this, but you cannot get this chain past this little gap here. So this bolt has to come out as well. That's why when you do buy these bolts, the new bolts, they come in twos. Alright, the one thing I'm not going to do now is get these screwed up. So this is my intake side. I'm going to set that on one side, and then the exhaust is going to be the other side. And I'll be able to pull that chain right out of there. There we go. There's our old chain. Set that down. And we're going to be grabbing our brand new bolts, brand new chain. There's the part number on the chain, if you care. I hope you never need to do this job. Not that it's that hard, because it's not incredibly hard. It's just, I hope that this works, you know, for you guys out there that are having issues with your bike clacking and making noise. You definitely, you don't want to have it to the point where, look at that, we can get that chain guide right out of there now. Anyways, I hope that this will fix the problem here with this bike where the chain sounded like it was making noise. I thought, you know what, we'll just change the chain. Maybe they made it just a hair on the long side or something. Maybe it was just a little bit on the loose side. So, get our brand new chain. I am going to put some oil on this. I'm going to soak this in oil before I install it. Alright, I'm going to slide my new chain guide into place. Bring my new chain in. I'm going to slide that along the guide. Sprocket into place. Set that in. I'm going to take my new bolts. I'm going to very temporarily put one in here, just so I don't lose its position. Alright. Try to get this sprocket up in there. Lined up, hopefully right. Alright, I'm going to use a handy little zip tie helper here to hold the chain in place. I keep having an issue where the chain is jumping off of here. Nope, garbage. Oh well. As long as it holds. There we go. So the issue I was having here is I was getting a little bit of a bind here at the bottom. It needed to move a half a link basically. A little bit tighter. It's now there. Now I can slip this one in where it belongs. I was able to get it finally in there. It was just another half off, so they just fit in there, guys. Alright, I just have those in there hand tight. I'll take my little pins now and put these into their locations. Alright, these are going to get torqued down to 8 Newton meters. And if you guys don't have a wrench that works in Newton meters, you need to get one. Don't work in inch pounds. Alright, we're going to take our top guide here, change this out, set that into place, and install the nuts on there. Just snug those down. Not going to tighten them down much, just, you know, they're not going to fall off. Next we're going to reinstall our tensioner. Alright, your timing chain tensioner bolts, those get tightened down to 8 Newton meters. This shouldn't have changed really at all, but I'm just going to check it. Oh, it's all good. They slide in and out just fine. Next thing to do is we're going to tighten down these bolts. They're going to be tightened down to 40 Newton meters, and then it's going to go an additional 60 degrees. So you got to have either a torque angle meter or one that's built into your torque wrench. So hold the wrench at the same time, go to 40 Newton meters. Now we're going to go to 60 degrees. Okay, now we need to torque this little guide down to 10 Newton meters. Okay. Now we can reinstall this after we clean up all of the gasket material that's on here, all the RTV. I'm going to do that off camera. Once you get the mating surfaces all cleaned up, you're going to take a very thin bead of sealant and run it around here, keeping to the insides here. So you're going to run it like this around here, and then we're going to put that on. There we go. If you want to go all the way around the bolt holes, you know, you go right ahead, but it's just, you're really just kind of making a mess doing, you know, going around each hole. But anyways, you know, set this in place on the locating pins. Make sure if you're still dripping oil, you get that cleaned up. These are going to get torqued down to 10 Newton meters. These do not need to be torqued down in any specific order. They just need to get torqued down. Just make sure you get them all. So guys, one thing I did do, which I did not show on the camera, was I did rotate the engine one time around manually, just to make sure that I could put it right back into top dead center timing, using that little timing tool, that long timing tool, as well as that locating pin, and everything checks out. So I'm going to go ahead and now put this bike back together again. You're not going to see that process here on this video, although I probably will bring it back with a final report. Did this actually work? You know, to stop the chain noise. Another thing that I did prior to installing the chain tensioner was I filled up the backside of it with oil, so that way it has oil pressure right away. It doesn't have to, you know, fill up, because I've changed these out. I've changed these out before, and if you don't fill them up with oil prior, they make a hell of a racket. It scares the crap out of you, because you're like, oh God, what did I do? You know, it's like bam, 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 until it finally fills up all the way with oil. So it's already full up, and I'm going to go ahead and now reinstall my timing cover and the coils and all that kind of stuff, all the stuff that's been outlined in my valve service videos. So I have both an adjusting video as well as a valve check video. Do check out all my other videos on this channel. And guys, I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching. And once again, if you do want me to work on your bike, hit me up with an email, kirk@kirksmotorrad.com, or just on the contact page at kirksmotorrad.com, and we'll get you going. You can also find me on Google too. So take care, guys. See you on the next one.